This is Albanian Stories, a series of interviews about unique Albanian people from our diaspora and their extraordinary stories. Hello, Denida.
Hi, you have to start the recording actually.
Yeah, we actually have. Thank you for being here and for doing this in the name of all the Gaf, Germin, and the production team, which we don't have an official name yet. Thank you for doing this.
Well, thank you for the invitation and thank you for the effort to put this together. I believe that you're doing something significant and it's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, as I tell everybody, I didn't bring the podcast to the Albanians. I found the podcast within you.
That's true. That's true.
So tell me a bit about yourself. Like, you were born in Albania and then you moved to Greece. And what are your first recollections from that era from Albania?
Well, I was born in 1992 and we moved to Greece in November of 1991. So I was 9 years old. I have memories from before the change on the regime. So I have memories from wearing the school uniform.
The black one with the dog with the huge collar.
Yeah,
awful.
I remember very, very strongly when every Monday the teacher had to come and check if we had our uniform was clean and we had a napkin and checking our fingernails if they were nicely done. So I remember all these things, and then when the things become a little bit harsh for our people, my parents decided to leave the country and move somewhere else. In the first attempt, it was me and my uncle trying to go through the mountains, which we didn't succeeded.
You were 10 years old. How could you?
I was 9 years old, and they had to leave. So I was the only kid with a team of the people trying to pass through the mountains, and they left me somewhere in the mountains so they can go and check, make sure that it's safe. And I still remember that it was like night and I am, sitting in nowhere, and being scared, and we couldn't pass. It wasn't safe. So we got back home, and a month later, we finally managed to travel to Greece.
Like in a normal route, like with a bus or whatever.
Flying. Yeah, we were flying,
Well,
the airplane.
That's the extremes, like crossing a mountain and then with an airplane. Nice.
Yeah, and then with an airplane. So it was my first trip, and when we landed, everything was so different, like another world. And to the eyes of a child, it's something very unique.
So, and then how did you follow up in Greece? What happened?
So another kid of immigrant parents trying to make their living, working a lot, trying to grow up in an environment where you're not welcomed, a lot of bullying, a lot of shaming you because you're from Albania. And I was, until during the teenager years, I was very much angry. I was very much I was feeling ashamed for my being from Albania because of the bullying and everything else. They were making me feel ashamed. And after, when I started to understand myself and to understand where I come from, I went to the opposite side. I wasn't feeling ashamed anymore, and I was making sure that I make others aware about my nationality, that I can love at the same time and respect and dedicate myself to more than one country. I love, I can respect Greece, but I still love my country because I was born there and I have memories. It's not just my parents' country, it's also my own country.
Well, it's like being a citizen of the world without even realizing it at first, because you don't need an explanation about it. You don't need a definition. It's how you feel that makes the whole thing work out. You don't need a guidance, you have to be this kind of person, so in order to love everyone or whatever, come up with something, with a better person.
It's funny because people try to put a label on you. They ask you, how do you feel? Do you feel Albanian? Do you feel Greek? I'm like, I feel human. it's just a matter of a luck where you're going to be born. I was born in Albania, so I'm Albanian. Now I live in the States. So how I feel, I just feel human. I can live anywhere in the world you place me. Doesn't matter to me.
And you told me something about like how did you get your education through Googling stuff away? No, it wasn't. Oh, sorry, it wasn't your education. It was your talking to your colleagues. I remember that was some like a really intricate way of performing, right?
When I started my career, when I started my company, it was back in 2002. So I didn't have any experience in running a business. I didn't have any experience in the industry I was functioning. So here I am, a person, a woman who has a view, has a dream, I would say, and is trying to have this company, and it's very unique because of the services. And I don't have the means to pay people to do my advertising or to do my networking and things like that. So everything has to be done by me. If I didn't use something, how to do something, for example, how to build a website, Google it. How can I create my logo? Google it. And I'm saying, I'm a kind of like a child of Googling, because we have a lot of limitations in budget and everything else. So and by Googling it, I also managed to create the brand for my company and myself. And a company that started in Greece has been operating in different countries, and the last 3 years, in the States.
So let's introduce your business journey, let's say, into the world, because it's very interesting, and it's like you have like one of the most unique services that I've ever encountered or ever ran to. Let's start with Athena, how it started, and then we explain the Nannyguards.
Well, at the age of 20, I decided that I want to be a bodyguard. And I went through a training. I was the first female they had in the class. And from what they told me, I was the first female in the private sector. The other females before me, they were from law enforcement. So, after the class, I was looking to see what are going to be my next steps. How do I find work? How do I, develop myself professionally further? And nobody could answer me in Greece because it was very new about females in in this industry, and they didn't know what to do with me. It's not that they didn't want to help, but they didn't know how to.
Even now that it's not new, it's still rare. Even now that it's not new, it's still rare, this thing.
Yeah, it is, but it's better than it was 20 years ago.
Of course.
You can imagine that they were seeing you like something really, really rare and weird, I would say. And I had the idea like, okay, let's create a company where it's going to be dedicated only to female bodyguards. And here I am because this company started months after my first training. So no experience in running a business, no experience in the industry, nothing. I had to bring other people in the organization to help me, people who had experience, to help me to develop the company. And the reason I choose Athena as a name is because I was, even for my years in Albania, my father used to read me for bedtime stories, Homer. So I was very familiar about the Greek mythology, and Athena always struck me because of her wisdom. Persona. You can be a female, you can win wars through wisdom, and that's what I wanted to have to represent females in the business. That if you are a female bodyguard, you don't have to be huge like your male colleagues. You just have to be wise enough and intelligent enough to be in the business. That's why I choose the name Athena.
That's a great branding approach. Awesome.
It was very hard at the beginning, to be honest with you, but I own, if you would say, the success of the brand to networking, to social media, because it was the only way for me, being in Greece back then, it was the only way to reach out to colleagues. and make myself known to them that this is who I am, this is what I do. And I was reaching to college in different countries who were hiring me to go and work in these countries. And that's how I found myself, with an Albanian passport, from Greece, an immigrant in Greece, traveling in different countries, in countries that I would have never dreamed before, and work for specific clients. That all because of the brand and the networking.
Being from Albania, did you get a gun permit?
Okay, so the gun permit, depending on the country that you are, there are different
procedures.
Yeah, different procedures and different laws to get one. So in some countries you cannot, because you're an expat, you're a foreigner, and you cannot apply for a gun permit. I'm going to give you an example. In UK, nobody in the private sector can have a gun permit, even British citizens. So it always depends on the country. The only thing I can tell you as an example is Greece, because I spent there the majority of my life. This is really funny, actually. I started working for a very big family. When I say big, I mean,
huge.
Wealthy okay. Family. One of the most well-known families in Greece. I started working for them in 2013. September 2013. So a week after I was hired, I applied to get my gun permit because everybody in the team was armed.
Wow.
And there's a very specific process. There's a huge, thick file that you have to submit everything that they want from my side and from my client side. And we submitted that September 2013. I left that client in August 2015, and I never received my gun permit. And the thing was that the answer that I was always getting was like, it's the first time that we have an Albanian citizen from the private sector who is applying for a gun permit. I wasn't an embassy employee. I wasn't, an Albanian government official to require, So for them, it was the first time of this happening. They didn't know what to do. My file was going from the, Ministry of
Foreign Affairs,
External Affairs to, to Interpol, it was, just running around and around and around, and nobody wanted to, to get apparently the responsibility for it. So I never saw my gun permit, to be honest with you.
So did you have like an bow and an arrow, like?
No, thankfully everybody else in the team was armed, and I wasn't the only one escorting the specific, because I was assigned to one of the children, so I wasn't the only one who was going out with the child at that time. So I had other people in the same team working with me who were armed, so we're covered.
So you didn't even make like the precedent for their own cases if they were to ask for a gun permit in Greece. You don't know what happened after that.
I really don't know what happened. I left the client. It was really funny because according to requirements, I had everything that they wanted. I submitted whatever they required, and I was a legal immigrant there. I had a green card and everything else. So it was just a funny story for me at the end. It didn't affect my job,
Of course, yeah. But being in such professional levels and industry, with serious people who want you to do your job, of course it would affect your position and everything. So anyone can have a bodyguard service now, and you can have female bodyguards if you want. I've heard other services in the world, like Russia, I think, they used to do. They had a very famous company. I forgot the name, but you took things on the security service with the female bodyguards one step further, or one step higher, or whatever, because I really love the second idea. And you came up with Nannyguards, which is the nannies that are bodyguards, and you came up with this new service and this new company and this new brand. So how did that come into your mind?
Well, if you're a female bodyguard, you will be hired only if there is a child to be protected or a female. And most of the times, it was a child. So, and they wanted a female because it's easier for the child to react with the female. And all of these families that I have been working with, they had nannies, and some of them had more than one nanny. And the nannies, of course, it's not their business, so they're not aware about the security procedures. And most of the time, they were a security liability for the client and for the child, and for us as well, because of what they were doing. And I came up with the idea and said, how about we create a program and a service that we take these nannies and we train them in security, in specific security topics, so they can combine childcare and protective services. And either those nannies work for celebrity families and high net worth families, or they work for common families who don't need security, but they want to feel have a peace of mind knowing that their nanny can protect the child in any kind of circumstances. And we're not talking only about kidnappings, but we can even for natural disasters, even for sex predators and things like that. And that's how the Nannyguard idea came into my mind. And I took basically two words, combined them together to describe the specific hybrid service, I would say.
So you went from Greece straight to the US, but you work all over the world, I think, right?
So I have been working in Italy, France, Albania, in the States, and India. India was its own. It's like a learning. It was like a learning opportunity for me. It was like totally different.
Totally different culture, industry.
I would say culture, and world. It's totally different world. It's you're not prepared for that.
Do you have any special moments in India that like you say, well, this was like out of this world, so we others can understand the Europeans and whatever Westerns.
I do.
Yeah.
So before I go to that, I have to give you a short pre-story about India. When I was a kid in Greece, I had this routine with my dad. We had our own thing. Every Sunday, we used to go to the flea market, the two of us, and buy VHS.
Okay.
Buy movies. So, Albanians, most of them, like Turkish movies or martial arts action movies or Indian movies. Well, my family was very passionate about Indian movies. So every Sunday we used to buy a new Indian movie and watch it. So from very early age, I started liking the music, the colors, the people, the stories that were always, you can be, the actor, somebody who is poor and they make it in life and they become famous and they became rich and they became successful. So I started liking this kind of culture. And when I was a teenager, I asked my mom and dad, I said, hey, I want to learn Hindi. And they were surprised. Like, usually your child is going to ask you, I want to learn German or English or French. Hindi? So we found an Indian immigrant in Greece. And for 6 months, I was learning Hindi. Until he was deported because he was an illegal immigrant. So I lost my teacher. And fast forward, from the age of 16 that I was learning Hindi, I got a business proposal to go and work in India in 2015. And that was the first time I actually saw the country and visited the country that I was seeing in these movies with my parents. And it was like mind-blowing because the reality is very harsh over there. And coming back to the funny story, on my second day in the country, first day on duty at work, I am positioned in 18th floor on the corporate office and waiting with my client, and my team is located in the parking, underground parking. So every 30 minutes I had to check with my team. So I'm checking with WhatsApp, nothing. Checking the radio, no reply. Checking again, nothing. So I decided to go downstairs in the parking and, check with my team. And I go there and I see all the team, 16 people, drivers and security personnel, flat out. And I thought, okay, the first thing that gets to your mind is we have been hit.
Oh, 16 people.
Yeah, we have been hit. Everybody was, like this. They were sleeping. so,
How can a team of 16 people, like all asleep, on duty?
All sleeping. So it's, for me, it's we don't sleep on duty, especially if you're working in this business. For them, because of the difference in culture, and it's like, they can sleep whenever they want, basically. You could see people sleeping on the streets. So that was the first shock I had, working with them. And it took me a lot of time to work it with them and say that, this is not acceptable for this and that reason. But that, I will never forget that, actually.
We can get killed for real. Like, guys, please don't sleep on your duty.
You don't sleep on duty. You're security personnel, so you can't do that.
So after going, so you said you've been around a lot and you've seen many places. What happened? How did you feel when you went back your first time in Albania?
After we left in 1991, we went back to Albania in 2004. I left as a child and I came back as an adult. The images I had when I left were, good and bad images, of course, mostly bad because of the situation that happened back then. And as a child, I couldn't comprehend and understand what's going on. And when I got back in 2004, and I see that everything is fine now. This is not a place that, it's scary or dangerous. This is quite safe. And I kind of felt guilty for having, thinking that it's going to be bad. It's not bad, it's fine. The country has been building itself back, and the people are doing much better. So it was really interesting for me to see the difference before and after.
Well, there are good and bad on every place you go, but it has been doing better, actually. Like, after all this time, people have worked and they have made a future for themselves, whatever the politics are. Like, we are hardworking people at the end of the day. Like, Albanians, they really are hardworking people. For us, it's hard to work at our place because we don't see a certain future to whatever we're doing. But you've seen for yourself, Albanians out of our countries like Albania and Kosovo and from North Macedonia or from wherever they are, it's strange, and it's somehow it weirds me out and my friends and my relatives. Whenever we go out, we make miracles happen. It's you're talking to other people. You ever sense that, for example, you have these great companies doing great job, and there are other people, famous people, getting into the entertainment industry or doing in the science fields and whatever, and it's can't they do the same here? Apparently they can't. Or maybe they can.
I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but my opinion on this is that I would probably say that maybe they're having more opportunities in these other countries.
Right, yeah.
There are some countries that you can do much more because they don't care where you come from. What they care is, do you have the skills to do something unique? And every country is different. For example, I don't believe that I would be able to have the same success if I had remained and work only within Greece. The fact that my services were very unique and I could work and bring these services in other countries, I believe that was part of my success. But if I was limited to do that only in Greece, I would have never made it because of the culture of Greece and how Albanians are considered. I wouldn't have any opportunity. I mean, there were many times where I was hired by the clients, and the rest of the team who were Greeks, they were like, okay, so we have an Albanian working for us for the security. They didn't trusted my skills because I was a female and I wasn't Greek. So automatically for them, I was less capable of doing the job. And of course, yes, they are amazing. I had amazing Greek colleagues as well, but I had the bad ones as well.
Did it ever happen to change their opinion after working with you for a while, or their first opinion was like the ones that loved you all the time, and the ones that didn't love you as much, didn't like you as much, never liked you?
There's all those people that will accept you. There are those people that won't accept you at first, and after they get to know you, they will accept you. Mm. And there are people who they're not accepting you at first, and they will never accept you because they have a very specific, point of view in life. And no matter what you do, you can't change that. And I'm not there to change that. I'm not doing my job to make friends. I'm doing my job to do my job. So I don't take it personally. If you don't like me, no, fine. I don't like, there are people I don't like either. So, yeah, I mean, there are always those kind of people, especially in an industry that is very hard, male-dominated, and women are already having a hard time establishing themselves.
But gender doesn't make you any better or any worse, nevertheless.
That's why I'm preaching too. I totally agree with you. There are females who say female bodyguards can be better. I'm like, no, the gender doesn't make you better or worse. What makes you better is what kind of skills you bring on the table. For example, if I have a male colleague, a male bodyguard, and I place him next to a female client, that colleague cannot follow that client wherever she goes because there are limitations. So at that moment, his gender becomes a kind of restriction for the services he's providing. Yeah. But again, because of the profession is not, there's a very huge misconception about the profession. They think that you have to be huge, you have to be badass, you have to beat someone down, things like that. That's not our job. Our job is to work proactively, to do all the necessary steps to prevent an attack before that attack happens. And if not, then we must know what to do if an attack happens and how to evacuate the client or how to deal with it. But the majority of our work, 90% of our work is based on proactive
recognition.
Yes, yeah. So a woman can do that. There's no need for me to be huge or know how to, do martial arts or something. But which most of these women are, they are trained in combatives and martial arts. But
you just spoiled the whole image for me. Everybody has this idea that the bodyguard will beat the crap out of anybody around, and you just say no, they will prevent that from happening. So why am I hiring you? I want to see you beat other people.
No, we had clients who were actually provoking other people in public, so their security team can react and beat those people up. But here's the thing: when you work for somebody, you're just a civilian. Even if you were in law enforcement, you still cannot go and beat people.
Of course. Yeah.
So when you are another civilian, you're just in your private sector, you're a civilian, you're working for somebody. So what? You can be his private assistant, you can be his nanny. You are the same category, even if you are security. There are many restrictions. You cannot arrest someone because he's going close to the client. You cannot push someone. So everything that we do, it has to be very specific.
We are there to
within boundaries. Yes, we have to protect clients. Of course, physically, but also we have to protect the client's image and protect them from embarrassment. It's a very different image from what you're getting from Hollywood.
But it's your fault. Because you're there. You should make
Well, nobody
You should
has
make a
spoken
movie.
Croatian.
You should make a movie and open everybody's eyes up. So
Well,
you're in the States.
I'm open.
Yeah, I'm open for offers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll tag someone in the posts about the whole thing, like looking for like what are agent? Yeah, looking for an agent for Hollywood agent. Like, living in the States, do you manage to have like Albanian contacts or friends or like an entourage or I don't know? Because it's huge. It depends on the place. So you can. Now that I'm thinking the whole thing, I just asked, like, you move so much, it would be impossible for you to make like Albanian, like steady Albanian friends. Just kidding.
No, I have many Albanian friends, and we have very significant people. I have Albanian friends from the world of arts, from business, from the business profession, business corporations and stuff. But of course, in Greece, we had, kept our connections with a lot of Albanians. But when I moved to the States, the place is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, the country is huge.
Is there like, when we talk to people, like when we do like these pre-sessions about the interviews, like one of the most important things that we want to know and have more information about is the type of cultural content or materials or whatever that reaches the diaspora world from Albania, from Kosovo. I don't know. Like, I don't know what type of information you guys get over there of what's going on in here, apart from politics, because that's like the main export.
Well, I would say apart from politics, our second main export is I want to be Playboy model singers. We have so much culture and folklore culture and so much more than just songs that I don't know. I don't want to.
No, we're not judging. We are, but still.
Yeah. So it's really amazing to me that we have so much in our tradition, and when somebody make like, I'm gonna book a place like a restaurant, I'm gonna bring one or two singers from Albania, and you will be able to hear them or watch them live, and also eat for dinner or lunch, and that place is gonna be packed. But when you try and do something that for me is going to be more significant, like cinema, or there are events that are happening between different kind of minorities, where everybody shows up and they have each minority can show their cuisine. Here you can have Thai food, you can have Indian food, and we have no representation from Albania. Arts. This one, by the way, is from an amazing, talented Albanian painter. We don't have that. We don't participate in things that are very significant to show our culture. So are only known when it comes about a singer event or something.
There are events and people don't participate in the events, or there are no events at all. Or maybe there were some events and there was no interest, so whoever was doing that just dropped the type of, events, cultural events.
I will bring personal experience, and I will bring this from my life in Greece. So in Greece, we have a large number of Albanians in Greece. And in 2007, I was part of a group of people, Albanian people, and we decided to bring in Greece the first Albanian film festival, because we wanted to show to our Greek friends our film industry. And we wanted also to give the opportunity to the Albanians in Greece, to the older ones, to rewatch these movies, and at the new generation who was probably, born in Greece, or they came to Greece at a very young age to see these movies. So for 7 days, we had different Albanian movies. We had 25 movies. 2 were from Kosovo. And we have also short movies, short duration movies. There was no interest from Albanian businessmen in Greece to support this financially. No interest at all. There was interest from very specific Greek companies who you know, they
in
had
Albania.
Albanian clientele.
Yeah, but the movies were in Albanian.
The movies were in Albanian, and because we didn't have a budget, nobody, you know, even if the Albanian government said, okay, you can have officially, because you need to have a permission from the Albanian Film Center to use these movies, and we had the films transferred through a diplomatic way, I would say. Even if they give you the permission, and there is the Greek Film Center who said, okay, I'm going to give you the place, the cinema, to use for this event, there's still enormous costs that you have to manage. And we didn't have the budget, you know, it was very limited. Whatever money we were receiving was about, you know, we had to print flyers and things like that. So our team, we were doing our own subtitling. So we were assigned, each one of us has, okay, here are 5 movies you have to watch, pause it. We did it with a very archaic method. So watch, pause, put your translation, the subtitles in a PowerPoint. Then take that PowerPoint while the movie is playing on the screen in the movie theater. We had another person who was clicking the next, you know,
like in the
PowerPoint.
Yes, like a souffleur.
Exactly. So we had to do manually everything. You know, when you think about it, it's like, you know, we should do better. We should do better. And the majority of the people who came to see these movies were Greeks. You know, we were blown away by the numbers of the Greek film fans that they wanted to see an alternative, you know, cinema. And we had very limited, like probably 10% were Albanians.
Well, maybe they didn't miss that cinema much. Maybe the choice of movies were. I think it's your fault because maybe you chose like I don't like weak movies. I don't know. Like
we separated in 2 eras. So before the fall of the regime and after the fall of the regime.
Okay.
And again, sometimes it's like, you know, you have to support something that is being done for your community, for your people. And besides that, because I have been a lot in contact with the artistic side, because my brother is a movie director as well, there are many other communities of immigrants in Greece who are doing something artistic. And I have seen them, you know, events for children and things like that. And we are the only community who doesn't participate, who doesn't do anything.
It's not the first time that I hear this, unfortunately. Well, there are groups of people that are trying to change this, but if they keep going, maybe later on it will catch on. I don't know.
Again, we have very significant people and very big talents inside Albania and outside Albania that we should be proud of, and we should show and also empower them and support them, and we should do better.
Yeah, some of us are trying and are trying really hard and giving everything they got to make at least some things last, you know, the good things try to survive the whole this like being covered. And plus whatever momentarily cultural wave they come and go, but the good things will always like resist the rush of times. It was great, Denida. You have like an awesome story, and it's like every time I go and think about those 2 companies, you know, like me being like a marketing and advertising guy, it's like I would have loved to be like part of the team that launched them, you know, because it's a great thing to have in your portfolio as an external person, but for you it's like the work of your life. Do you have any insight that would say like, I want this for maybe not the whole world, but for all the Albanians to know, like something from your experiences in Albania and abroad, or succeeding at things, succeeding at life?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for your kind words. And I would say we always need someone in marketing. And about the second part, I just want to tell to my fellow Albanians that don't feel that you're lacking something. Don't feel that because you were born in Albania or you're holding an Albanian passport, you are limited to do things. You can always apply for a visa. You can always reach out to different companies. you can always reach out to connections. You know, I have had the luck to work with some amazing people because I had the guts to reach out to them, either Facebook, or LinkedIn, or through their, company's emails, and say, hey, this is who I am. This is, can you help me out? Or can you, what do you suggest? And some of these amazing people reached out to me and they gave me such great guidance and they helped me. So sometimes it's just asking for help. And it's okay if you can't do something, if you don't know how to do something, learn about it or ask someone who knows how to do it. So even if you're an Albanian, you can always reach out to the other part of the world. If you want to do it, there's ways to do it. You're not lacking anything. You can always get, if I'm not mistaken, Albanian passport can enter 54 countries without a visa. And for me, it has always been easy to get even an American visa. So there are no restrictions. The only restrictions it's us, in our stories.
Great.
It's what holds us back. And I always use my story and say, if I made it, you can make it too. There's nothing that can stop you. It's going to be struggles. Yes, there are going to be struggles. There are going to be people who are going to try to stop you or tell you how silly it is, the idea you have it is. But if you have, a good idea, you can always seek out for help. I have reached out to companies, to amazing companies that are huge. And by just asking someone who was working there, hey, how can I reach out to the HR department? So it's only about just ask, just go out there.
Just ask, and it will be given to you.
It's not that it will be given always, but there are people out there who will help you. There are amazing people who will, okay, 8 will help you, 2 won't, but who cares about the 2? And with the power of social media today, you can reach out to many people.
Thank you. Yeah, we need sometimes that we are confident. We are not actually confident as people, maybe too much of confidence. We are like absorbed sometimes, those who go forward and make things happen for themselves. And the people that have skills are not so confident in doing things. They're always it's like this self-doubt. So they really need to hear this. Thank you. Thank you for putting this out loud.
No, it's understandable. Okay, everybody may have doubt. I had many doubts, many doubts about myself. I made a lot of mistakes, huge mistakes, especially with having a company. But you learn from that. You learn what not to do next.
Okay, so we'll call it a day then, Chief.
Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for your project and what you guys are doing. And please pass my gratitude to all involved in this, and I wish you much success.
Yeah, we will. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for taking time out of your over busy schedule, and we'll stay in touch and talk for lots of things more.
Yes, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Linda. Thank you.